happened years ago. Did you know there are three kind of aces? Those who seek strength, those who live for pride, and those who can read the tide of battle. Those are the three. And him?
He was a fighter pilot they called Solo Wing Pixie. This man was his buddy.
Just look at the view. There's not much difference between those countries from up here.
He is the man I seek.
It was a cold and snowy day.
Hey, Cashern. Just finishing setting some stuff up.
The Belgian War is shrouded in mystery. Everyone is a hero and a villain, and no one knows who is the victim.
Ah, no sabía que hablabas español.
And what is peace?
Pues vale. Ya. Mis orígenes misteriosos, ¿no? Hey, Scherzo. Is that how you pronounce it? Scherzo? Scherzo? Can just call you Ribbon Yellow. That'll make it easier. Okay. Okay, can someone leave just post a link to the stream here in the chat, because I cannot find a way to I'm sure the option was here somewhere, and now I just can't find it. I want to link someone to the stream and I just can't find the link to the actual stream. YouTube, why are you so YouTube?
It's going to take a while. It happened years ago. Did you know there are three kind of aces? Those who seek strength, those who live for pride, and those who can read the tide of battle. Those are the three. And him?
He was a fighter pilot they called Solo Wing Pixie. This man
Ah,
was
never
his
mind, it's fine. I don't need it. After all. But thanks. Yeah, it's okay.
He is the man I seek.
I think, yeah, I guess there's some, like, I don't have any filters active or anything on the chat, but I guess some things are just censored by default. Yeah, as for free mission, at the end, if I'm looking at this correctly, I will have to play a couple of missions at the end of everything, because I don't think it's possible to get everything in 3 straight playthroughs. So we'll see.
Everyone is a hero and a villain, and no one knows who is the victim and who is the aggressor. And what is peace?
Okay. Yeah, that's the idea. Just starting from the beginning. thing with Ace Combat Zero, well, actually, I think 4 is the only one that lets you start a new, like a completely new game on higher difficulties. I know 5 and 0 don't. You can only go up to hard. So yeah, that means that I won't be able to get the aces that only spawn on ace difficulty on the first playthrough. That's why that means I will have to play certain missions a 4th time, but I can just speedrun it. I'm just curious to see how fast you can basically do a one. Well, it's not a 100% thing, because to 100% this game you basically need to get all the S ranks, and yeah, I'm certainly not doing that. So yeah, if you go, obviously if you go to special new game, then yeah, you can do it, but that's not the idea, because then everything is already unlocked. The idea is to start from here. Most of them aren't. Most of the aces aren't, but a few of them are. A few of them, specifically the ones in Mayhem. There's one ace that only spawns on ace difficulty in each ace style. So yeah. And then the ones that are the missions that are split, like the ABC missions, that's 4, 8, and 14, I think. Those also have unique aces for each ace style on ace difficulty. Sure is ace in here. Yeah, as for the game volume, I'll be adjusting it as I go. Just didn't really get to test it beforehand. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but in the end, it's really. I think it's going to be 4 extra missions at the end, and most of them can be speedrun. It's only Mayhem really that takes a little too long, but yeah. So yeah, let's go with this. Okay, let me adjust. I'm gonna raise the volume a little.
I know him.
On the game audio.
It's going to take a while. It happened years ago.
And you'll tell me how it goes.
Did you know there are 3 kinds of aces? Those who seek strength, those who live for pride.
I haven't watched the cutscenes in a while, so I'll just leave them. At least for the first run.
And him? He was a true ace.
He was a fighter pilot they called Solo Wing Pixie. He was a colleague of the man I seek. 10 years ago, there was
yes,
a
basically
war
that, yeah.
engulfed the world.
The rest will be just 4 missions.
War. And in that war was a pilot who trailed across the sky and disappeared from his
I wonder, actually.
He was a lone mercenary who inspired both fear.
No, I think it's actually 6 missions, because the first 2
He is the man I seek. So,
on your first playthrough, the first 2 missions will never spawn any aces. That's a bit of an oddity that Ace Combat Zero has. There are certain aces that never spawn on the first playthrough, but others do. It's kind of weird. So yeah, I think missions 1 and 2 also need to be played after the fact. This is on a PS2. Yeah, have to capture the preview window for the capture software, which is not optimal. You can very clearly see screen tearing right across the middle of the screen. It's just an interaction of the way I have to capture this. It's a mess, but it's the only way I can capture this game. If I try to do it straight from the actual output of the capture card, the audio will go out of sync in the transition to cutscenes and from cutscenes. You can already see that it skips. The audio goes out and the screen goes black, and then it comes back. That's just another issue with an interaction of the capture card and this game in particular. It's just something with the PS2. It's something weird it does internally. Okay, so this should be empty. And I should, first of all, I should save to, well, actually no, this game doesn't have a autosave, so it should be fine. If this was 6, then immediately I would save to a different save file. Okay, this is empty. All right. Okay, so to make things a bit more interesting, I thought I might mix this up a little. I'm gonna use a different set of planes every time. How about American planes on the first playthrough, European planes on the second playthrough, and well, this is not a Russian plane, but let's just treat it as one. In any case, the next unlock is the MiG-21. So yeah, so American, European, and Russian. And I don't know, let's throw in. I don't know. Do we consider Japanese ones to be what? American? Might as well. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's the first one that have auto load. Yeah. And Combat X, I think, was the first one to have auto save. So well, I think it prompted you every time. I'm not sure actually. Okay, so yeah, let's go with this. And yeah, I have a, as you can see, because if I put the Firefox window over the capture preview, and it will show in the stream. So yeah, I have a list here. I don't think I will need it, but just in case, I have a reference here for all the aces and stuff. Yeah, sure, that works. Of course, that means it will be useful to remember what missions unlock what planes. Because specifically the different variations of missions 4, 8, and 14 each unlock a different plane. But whatever. Can't be asked to look it up. If someone wants to look it up for me, then that would be great. But it's really not necessary. Of course, then there's also the aces. Different ace styles, you get different planes because you fight different aces. So, we'll see. I mean, by default, I'm just gonna go mercenary first, soldier second, and then finally knight. But I could change it up. Nah, I'm not gonna. I don't think I will need to reuse anything. I'm gonna try and avoid it at least. As I said, mixing it up. I mean, let me think. First aces are Typhoons, Hornets, and Griffins. Going for Hornets would make the most sense because we're going American here. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. In that sense, yeah. Yeah, I will definitely have to repeat some. I just mean across different playthroughs, I shouldn't have to. Thing is, I can't go for soldier first, because then I will have to go to one extreme and then go back from one extreme to the other, and that's a bit of a mess. So definitely gotta go either mercenary or knight, and I'm already killing yellow, so mercenary it is. Screw it. Old habits die hard. If anything, the thing will be keeping myself from killing yellow targets in the other playthroughs, because I always play like that, and I should probably go after that one. Man, I've done this all backwards. So much for a speed run. Technically, I don't even need to get S ranks or anything. But again, old habits. Yes, in fact, the fact that you start with Soldier is why you need you need to do 2 missions in a 4th playthrough in order to unlock every mission in every ace style. You start on Soldier and you can go either to Mercenary or Knight. But then you have to go back to Soldier, and then you finally go to Knight on the 4th playthrough. Sure is using qualms here. Yeah, if I remember right, this formation actually spawns a certain ace. But I don't think it happens in this difficulty anyway, so... doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess I will be unlocking the Typhoon, but I'm not gonna use it this playthrough. In fact, I'm gonna keep things somewhat balanced, so I won't use it until like the end of the next playthrough or the following one. I don't know. We'll see. 50 plus missions, yeah. It's 18 plus 3 plus a few more. So yeah, it's a bunch. I don't think I will be doing it all in one go. It's probably between today and tomorrow, or maybe next week. I'll see.
Day. My first impression was he had potential.
Okay, so no aces yet, as I mentioned. First playthrough, certain aces never spawn. Save just in case. On a different file, of course.
But now, a decade after the peace accords, a portion of the records was finally released. I quickly got a hold of it. Wanting more details, I acquired information from unknown sources. There was a reason for my obsession. The roots of the war lie in the Belkan Federal Law Review that took place in 1988. Belka,
yeah, it is pretty nice.
Strife, permitted its eastern territory to secede, and the Republic of Ustio was born. But Belka's economic troubles did not subside. Meanwhile, taking advantage of the situation, the world superpower Osea continued to flourish. Amidst the economic panic, an extreme right-wing party took power within Belka, aiming to restore strength and stability to the nation. And on March 25th, 1995, with the discovery of natural resources in Ustio, Belka began to invade its neighbors. It was the beginning of the Belkan War.
Interesting how it's actually called Ace Combat Zero here in this cutscene. Because this is the European version, so it's not Ace Combat Zero, it's just Ace Combat: The Balkan War. This is literally the only time where the full title is shown.
In response,
I guess they weren't going to make a whole new pre-render video just for that.
This, of course, can be found in any history book. but I noticed a strange similarity in the materials I gathered. There were several accounts about a mercenary, all followed by the code word, demon. But most of the information was incomplete. Still, I was intrigued. I decided to pursue the history of the Balkan War through this mercenary. I was certain I would find something there. Would it be the hidden truth behind the war, or just another battlefield legend? I wasn't able to meet the mercenary himself. Actually, it's questionable if he ever did exist. But thanks to some old friends in the military, I was able to track down several individuals who knew him. Soloing is one such man.
Recent stuff shown of 7. Okay, so on that, thoughts. I mean, what have we had since the last time I talked about any of this? I guess it has been a while. I don't know what to say, honestly. I've talked a lot about it on the subreddit and such, but I particularly, I mean, I think I mentioned it on, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I particularly liked Mission 6, Long Day. I mean, that's just my kind of thing, you know, open-ended, not scripted, just, you know, it's combat 4, 6-ish kind of thing. That's my thing. Mission 7. The weather is, I mean, that is all about the weather, really. The mission itself didn't seem like amazing or anything, but it's really all about handling the weather and the terrain, right? So that's interesting. It's a bit gimmicky, but I think it could still be fun. There's nothing wrong with, you know, the occasional interesting mission, let's say. So there's that. As for gaming cons in Spain, I don't know if any had. I don't really follow that sort of scene very much. I don't know if any had Schema 7 playable, if they did at all. So I don't know. It's just not really a thing that I follow, or honestly would be interested in going. Hold on, why am I buying this? I don't need to buy anything. I'm not gonna use it yet. Again, old habits. Yeah, I guess I'm stuck with this for now. Oh, hold on, I can buy the weapons. I knew I went in here for a reason. UGV, I'm not buying this. Completely useless. Worst weapon in the series, probably. Yeah, in terms of core mechanics, 7 looks solid. I mean, there's really not much to say about it. It's basically classic Ace Combat. I mean, it's hard to tell until actually playing it. You know, seeing. Particularly, I care a lot about how the gun works, the gun mechanics specifically. It looks fine, but it's just impossible to tell until actually getting, you know, with the control in your hands, actually playing it. But it looks fine. Yeah, Napalm is just, there's just no point to it. I mean, it's so weak. The area of effect is, I mean, yeah, it's quite a long straight line, but it's just so narrow. And it's so weak that it doesn't even destroy light targets. It only destroys the lightest targets, like SAMs, AA guns, tents, I don't know. It's just very, very pointless. Okay, mercenary. Yeah, I gotta remind myself each time of what A style I'm going for. Right now it's not a problem, but when I get to the second playthrough, I guarantee you I will accidentally destroy yellow targets that I didn't intend to. Come on. Okay. So it's above me, yeah. I guess I could give some orders to Pixie, let him use stuff. But again, I'm just so used to doing everything myself. Kinda like it better that way. Just for a playthrough like this, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, no, I mean that's my preference, you know. But I understand that it's not. I'm not expecting that, or even saying, you know, Ace Combat 7 should be this way, like should be like 6. Nah, it's fine. It's just that, you know, that's my preference, and that's basically all. So I will enjoy whatever missions are in that vein. I mean, I like Zero quite a bit, and it's not a particularly large-scale game for the most part. But it does. Okay, what the hell? Aim, please. It does certain things better than other games, and at the end of the day, that's what's important, right? Yeah, there's 2 medals for each A style. Shouldn't have any problem in getting them. I mean, Supreme Soldier is always a bit tricky, but by this point I think I've done it enough times that that I can probably handle it without having to like reload the save or anything like that. Should be fine. I don't think. Yeah, okay. I did play this game in Spanish at least once, and that's about it. For quite a few years now, I've had my consoles set to English, so yeah, I just play everything in English if available. Mostly because I mean I participate in the English speaking community, so it makes more sense to play the games in English to, you know, be in the same page. And then of course there's games that have dubs, and generally I prefer the original version. Uh, the translation for Ace Combat Zero was a bit. It wasn't bad, but I thought the wording was a bit strange at times. I mean, well, I mean, I can't really blame them for that, but considering the English translation itself already took some liberties with the whole Demon Lord thing. It was a pun originally in Japanese, so in Spanish it was, I think it was something like the the Infernal Duke or something like that, or the Duke from Hell. Yeah, it was even cringier than the Demon Lord. but you know, I mean, translating the Demon Lord literally, I think it would be even worse. So I can't really blame them too much. Ace Combat 5 had some mistranslations as well, but it wasn't like anything major. And yeah, Assault Horizon had, in fact, Assault Horizon is the only game in the series to have dubs, other than English, obviously. It's funny that you mentioned Final Fantasy. I played 8, 9, and 12 in Spanish. The first, in fact, Final Fantasy 8 was my first RPG. Period. And those actually have really good Spanish translations. They're done from Japanese to begin with, when many games are done from English. And they're, in fact, Final Fantasy 8 actually, I'm just gonna say it outright, it has a better Spanish translation than an English one. The localization is just better. It's more accurate to the Japanese. The characters are just better as a result. The English localization just it exaggerated the character traits, I found, and that's part of the reason why the game was a bit not that a bit controversial, let's say. And I guess I'm still stuck with the F5. Yeah, divisive would be the word, yeah. I mean, there are more reasons, obviously. The gameplay was questionable in some aspects, but yeah, that is also a factor. Okay. I mean, what does it matter what I give Pixie? It's not like I never tell him to do anything. Yeah. Draw the game. Honestly, it goes for RPGs, for turn-based RPGs in general now, but I can only tolerate them on emulator nowadays with, you know, speeding up things. I mean, there's a reason Final Fantasy 12 introduced a speed-up mode in the remaster. Well, it wasn't in the remaster, but came from the original international version, as they call it, when it's not international at all, but you know.
The only rule of engagement was to survive.
Comm team, this is Eagle Eye. Penetrate B7R and get a feel for the surroundings. Comm 2, roger. This kind of job is what we're all about. Enemies on radar. Exercise caution.
Yeah, 13 is actually the only modern Final Fantasy. Well, I never played 13. I played 13-2 only, which I thought it was okay actually. I enjoyed that game. Not nearly as much as the previous Final Fantasy games, but still. But yeah, I only played in English, so I don't know what the Spanish translation was like. Everyone flying at me head on. Well, not that guy, not quite, but almost. Okay.
Warning, the enemy's locked onto you.
Could have switched to Quam, kill that guy head on, but whatever. Wow. Actually, evasive maneuvers. What is this? Well, at least they're not, huh. How would you call people from Laysat? Laysat? Sathians? I don't know. Yeah, those are worse. Those really like flying into you even more than these guys. In fact, that's basically the prime strategy in Ace Combat X. Yeah, that line is probably something entirely different in Japanese. And probably has nothing to do with real-life countries. Is my guess. And it's like Sapin, right? Are they Sapinians or Sapinish? Sapinish. Somehow the former sounds better, but the latter is more, you know, more in line with the real country. Okay, time for these guys to be pushovers because they're the first A squadron and we couldn't have them be actually challenging. Even though they're flying one of the best planes in the game. Oh, nice try. Yeah, pretty much.
All Belkin reinforcements confirmed down. Mission complete. Return to base. Incoming message from Allied Forces Operations Command. Allied Naval Force has begun its advance. We appreciate your work. Looks like we were just a couple of decoys. Yo, buddy. You still alive?
Well, TH itself doesn't, but the sound actually does, and in fact, there are some regions that are, at least one I can think of, that ends in a sound.
About how you defeated an elite squad of enemy Typhoons. Now go rest up. You've earned it.
But now that I think about it, I'm not sure I remember the word for people from that area. From that, yeah. So I don't know how it goes. Yeah, the XL Quams, as I would call them, from that trailer. Yeah, let's just skip the briefings. Okay. What do here? You know what? I'm gonna. Yeah, that first trailer looked rather suspect. Yeah, I agree. There's something about the movements that just it didn't quite feel right. I'm just gonna look up Combat Hero plane unlocks. Let's see. Okay. I think this doesn't really say how to unlock them. Probably better off looking for a walkthrough or something. Just want to know which variant unlocks which plane. Yeah, I just saw this thread yesterday. What the hell? Okay, yeah, this is what I wanted. Okay, let's see. Where's mission 4? Search for it. Okay, so yeah, 4C gives you the F-16, 4A gives you the MiG-29, and 4B gives you the F-20. F-20 or F-16? Decisions. F-20 is just gonna feel a bit repetitive now, because I've been using the F5. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. Yeah. Yeah, it really is quite a game breaker for the start of the game. I mean, 14 UGBLs. Why? It feels like they just they messed something up and they intended to give it UGB or something. In fact, that's what it had in Escombat 5. Yeah, this is air-to-air. All right. Of course, it does mean that I will have to do this mission twice, because we're not playing on Ace yet. In fact, I don't know if you unlock Ace right away, or if you need to do Expert first. I think you need to do Expert first, which means that that this is gonna take more missions than I thought. I think. C. It's pretty. Oh, what the hell am I doing? It's pretty average. I mean, it doesn't have anything particularly special to it. Ooh, well, you think I'm not playing on Ace? 88% damage. Okay. Let's be careful now. Yeah, especially the voice acting. Or just the lines themselves. Maybe not even the voice acting, but just the actual script. You're mine! With clouds! Yeah, it's pretty bad. And yeah, I definitely agree. Not being a native English speaker definitely helps with not noticing the cheesiness of some of the voice acting. For me, in fact, I've become more perceptive to it as I become more fluent in English. Okay. Yep, and there's the first ace. Other than, obviously, Rot. For a while, it was actually thought that aces would only start spawning once you encounter your first ace squadron. But that's actually just coincidence. It's the aces with a specific spawning pattern that never spawn in your first playthrough. I think this is the last wave. I'm honestly not a big fan of this mission because of this wave pattern. It's there's just not much to it. Wow, I'm missing everything. Let's just use these for a change. There's just a lot of enemy planes flying straight. So yeah, I prefer the other two variants of the mission. Yes, well, of course. It doesn't take much to be better than narrow marking. It is literally, here's one A6, here's two A6s. Oh my god, the challenge. I cannot deal with this. It's Combat 5. And then there's obviously the radio chatter. We're being attacked from all directions. No, the map is empty. And it has been empty for about half a minute now.
Operation Costner succeeded, contributing to the overall success of campaign number 4101.
We're on our way to full mercenary. F-16 acquired. Saving once in a while because with the way I run PS2 games, I can't be sure if the game won't freeze at some point. I mentioned this before, but since my PS2's DVD drive is just dead and has been for years, so I have it modded in order to run games from image files, from ISOs, through the network port. It's quite an amazing thing that they got that to work, but that's the homebrew scene for you. And yeah, it means that it's a bit finicky. Sometimes if something happens to Windows, because after all it's running from my laptop, so if something just goes fucked up on my system, it can just freeze the game. In fact, that happened to me the other day playing Ace Combat 4. In the middle of Whiskey Corridor, of all things, the audio just went out, and by the time I finished the mission, well, it wouldn't load because it lost connection. I didn't buy the F-16. What am I doing? So yeah, that's why I save once in a while, just in case. I mean, that's such a difference. You get 8 LAGMs and 14 UGBLs. It just feels like it shouldn't have UGBLs to me. For now, I'll just buy these. Well, honestly, for this mission, whatever. I mean, this mission is mostly just kind of scattered target, so doesn't really matter what you use. I mean, thing with Ace Combat 5 is just that it's not even. I mean, the gameplay is affected, obviously, but for me it also affects the story and the immersion factor, because the game makes it sound like there's this grandiose thing going on, and then you look and it's 4 tanks. And it just feels so disconnected. I mean, for all the shit that people give Ace Combat 6, and even I do it, even I say, you know, Ace Combat 6 story is crap, it does a much better job at the actual in-mission atmosphere for me. Because the gameplay and the story actually match, you know. I mean, obviously you have to suspend your disbelief a little and, you know, actually believe that Garuda 1 can take out entire armies by himself. Of course, you don't actually have to play that way, so that also contributes. You can actually call your allies for support. Yeah, there is no point, but I mean, it's not. I don't even see it as complaining, to be honest. I still play it. I just can't help but see it as a bit of a lost opportunity. And I do hope that Ace Combat 7 doesn't repeat the same mistakes. I hope it doesn't. I don't think it will. From what I've seen so far, it doesn't look like it will. But it's impossible to tell until we actually play it. And of course, I imagine most people, given the popularity of 5, most people wouldn't care if Ace Combat 7 was basically 5 Part 2. But for me, it would be rather disappointing. Because there is certainly a loss in long-term inherent replayability. Oh shit! Damn it! I thought I would actually clear that. I thought I would barely clear that, but nope. What are you doing? Good thing it's a short mission. Yeah, I honestly do expect to be similar to Zero in that sense. They basically said somewhere in between 4 and 5, and that's basically where Zero is. It doesn't really do the large-scale battle thing of 4. I mean, you have Bastion and Line in Deceit, but it's not quite that. But it's fine anyway. I'm fine with that. I like Zero. It's either my second or my third favorite, depending on what day it is. I actually like them. I actually like. I mean, they have a flaw, which is the fixed time limit, and sometimes too long time limit. 20 minutes is too long. I mean, I think they should have kept it to 15 minutes maximum. But I don't dislike the concept, actually. I do prefer how 6 handled it. In that it lets you decide when you want to finish the mission, as opposed to just, you know, waiting for the timer to run out. But I still don't really mind it. Oh, you mean those in Zero? Okay, yeah. Yeah, Bastion I don't like very much. Line in Deceit I don't mind so much. The problem with Bastion for me is that one of the, I mean, okay, so you do the central area. you do the central area, and then you have a choice of basically 3 areas. The problem is that only one of those areas actually has enough points to finish the mission. If you go to the other ones, you end up having to fly all over the map because you won't have enough points. It's not very well designed in that aspect. But no, I understand why people don't like Lying in the Seat. I mean, it's not a particularly remarkable mission. Yeah. Bastion at least has the whole setting to it. The atmosphere. That is definitely a plus for it. And yeah, the soundtrack is a bit Also another point where Bastion is better, yeah, I agree. But, you know, when you play these games for a million times like I do, I end up caring about the more core gameplay thing. I actually have to go for that ace over there. I never do that when I play just for fun. So it feels weird. I think it's an A10. Just hanging around over there doing nothing. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm not surprised that people don't go to the flag tower because it's just there's literally no reason. If you want to be optimal about it, there's no reason to go to the flag towers or the I can't remember what the other area is. The I forget the name. I think the area garden they call it is by far the best because it has enough points to finish the mission. It's barely defended. It doesn't have like a million AA guns or anything. The Harriers can be a bit dangerous if you let them take off, but otherwise, yeah. So it's basically every reason to go there and every reason not to go anywhere else. Yeah, the Harriers are the northwest, which is the best area basically. Southwestern one, I think, is it's Ramparts. I think it was called, yeah. That's just heavy AA gun country. So again, it's more dangerous and it gives you less reward. So why would you go there? And yeah, I agree about Long Day. It definitely feels like an Ace Combat 4 mission in that sense. Hopefully, it won't have the same problem. It does seem to have a fixed time limit, but hopefully it will have enough targets for even an experienced player to, you know, to not run out. It's... Huh. Okay, I've had my laptop speakers on all this time. I was surprised. I would be surprised if you weren't getting some echo through my microphone. What was I saying? Yeah, the time limit on that mission. So yeah, I do hope they fix the issue with 4, where you can run out and basically have practically nothing to shoot at. A10 and Mirage. Well, we can use the A10, so that's useful. It will be useful for Bastion, I guess. Yeah, I don't think they would either. And honestly, I'd rather they don't. I don't mind it, but I do prefer things to be a little more compact. Because really, when it, I mean, 6 is my favorite, but it's not necessarily because of the scale in terms of like using the whole map or anything like that. It's just, it's more about the density, really, and the amount of stuff going on, more so than the scale by itself. I actually prefer Tango Line in general, because the different areas are more, how to say it, they're more distinctive. Each area requires a slightly different gameplay approach. While Whiskey Corridor is just basically, well, it's a desert. It's just a flat area. So, okay, I can't afford it yet, but I don't need it anyway. Because it's not like I'm gonna use it in this mission. Whatever. Yeah, the what was it? The allied support sound effect comes up. I think it's like for an allied request or something. I can't remember. I haven't really followed the VR gameplay a lot because, well, it's not like I'm gonna play it, so I'm not particularly interested. But yeah, I did notice that. Yep, gotta love this track. Well, really, the soundtrack as a whole, but I mean, Zero does have my favorite soundtrack, all in all. And this is one of the better ones. Okay, I can raise it. I'm just worried that my voice will be drowned out. Let's see now. And yeah, honestly, thinking about it, it may actually be wiser to stick with the F-16 for the next one, because it has LAGMs. But then again, the A-10 has FAEBs. And it's hard difficulty, so I'm not too worried about AA guns yet. Yeah, fuck it, I think I'll use the A-10. It is particularly fitting for that mission, so let's not crash, or let's not, oof, not get hit by a missile either. Yeah, that is a fair point. That's what I was thinking. That it's probably the mission where it makes the most sense to use it, because most missions afterwards, well, there is Line in the Seat again. That one is FAEB country as well. But most missions are more air-to-air focused, so we'll see. Let's save these guys, even though it's completely unbecoming of a mercenary such as me. I don't know. I cannot into English.
Radar locked.
we have an ace here? Yeah, there he is. You have many holes in your fuselage, I think. Okay. Questionable aim. Seems to be a trend today. Bye-bye. And still 4 UGBLs to spare, which I just used. Because why not? It's really ridiculous, the ammo count on this plane.
It looks like all sectors have been liberated.
Meanwhile, the Mirage, which is it's the attacker version in this flight. At least it's considered an attacker. It doesn't actually fly like an attacker. Meanwhile, that has UGB, standard ones. This is interesting.
They've got a reason to fight. This battle's over. Warning, warning, enemy reinforcements approaching. What, now?
Yeah, Cypher is so like, I only wanted the money. I'm not saving you because I like you.
Let's take care of them.
Cypher is a tsundere. What else is new?
They're faster than anything we've come across. Commence intercept.
Bye.
It doesn't look like they'll let us
Gel,
get
please.
unless we take out
Gel,
those two
please. Why are you
Captain, was he
why are you
shot
like
down?
this?
Don't get too hasty.
Seriously.
Just fly as you always do.
Seriously, guys. Lack of maintenance is not an excuse for that.
Airspace threat eliminated. GOM team, mission complete. We've taken back this sector.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you were here for that one marathon stream that we did, that I did with Tuga Avenger. That was a thing for the ages. That fight with Geb Squadron that he had. That was really strange. I still don't know if it was like an emulator thing or just complete, I don't know,
On May 13th,
just complete chance, because the AI in general is very random.
Ustio was finally liberated. The tide of war was about to change dramatically.
Belka's Ustio branch headquarters has fallen. Directus has been liberated. I just received a vintage bottle of Chateau Vauloise for the GOM team. It's a hard-to-find Cabernet. Perfect.
I think the clips
Celebrating an
are
occasion
still...
such
Hold
as
on,
this.
I'll look for it. I think they're still on my... Yeah, I think we streamed that on my channel, my Twitch channel, so they should still be there. Let me check. Not here. Oh, yes. Okay, hold on, I want to link to my videos. Man, it's really obvious that I never use Twitch. Barely use Twitch anyway. How do you link to... channel, okay. Should be a... okay, here. Well, I think I can link to stuff. I mean, I should be able to link to stuff here. I sure hope I'm not censored. I'm the owner of the channel. Well, one of these planes is broken. The other is also broken, but in a different way. But one is American, so that's what I'm stuck with. I mean, I gotta use it. I gotta use it. It's just it's variety. It's commanding me to use it. them loots. Please, why?
The true nature of the war begins from this point forward. Accounts vary depending on the article and source. Everyone is a hero and a villain, and no one knows who is the victim and who is the aggressor. And what is peace? All questions commonly asked about any war in history.
Oh, my bad.
To Belka. He is also thrust into the middle of this war. This is also where my interests shift from the war to him.
It's another unfortunate consequence of the capture setup that I need to use. That's just how it goes. Well, it is A10 for now, obviously. Barely enough money. I mean, if I need to, I can just sell old planes. So. Yeah, I mean, we do have to use FAB here. And that's our first alternative paint scheme. So let's use it. Because of course. Ah, yeah, I saw that about its Combat 3 character. Gotta wonder.
Tom 1, you are cleared for takeoff. Nuclear inspection, huh? What a joke. Fire away at Gladys. Your job is
I feel like that will be a bit too overt of a connection. I think whatever it is, I think it's just gonna be a bit of an Easter egg thing. Who knows? Then again, yeah, I don't know. Could be anything at this point. Boom.
This is Area Gate. The fire's broken out inside. Sector A's been taken care of. Head for the
I really think only the A10 should have FABs in this game. Just like in 5 and 6. Giving it to the to the Su-37 and F-15 SMTD is just like it removes basically the point of this plane. Makes them good at everything. It's not like balance matters in a single player game, but you know. Time to get flashbacks to that guns only run that I did. I just had to reduce the difficulty level for this one because it was just impossible. I mean, I doubt it was impossible. It was just completely luck based. whether it got hit by guns or not.
AA guns destroyed. Flying flat is gonna get you shot down.
I did a guns only run of 5 with all S ranks. I think that was the condition. I have a playlist here on YouTube. I think the only thing that was somewhat challenging was rim paxing. Well, I say somewhat. I did die quite a few times, but eventually I found the trick to it that made it manageable. Still required pretty tight execution, but it worked out, and it's repeatable. Oh, I will be using MiGs as well, but for the end of the playthrough, whatever playthrough I use Russian planes in, yeah, it will probably be the Su-37. But we'll see. Probably won't do that today anyway. Maybe the A-10 will have MGP as a special weapon. That would be interesting. And I would totally approve. I guess I can spare an FAB over there. I don't think it's particularly useful in this next area. No, actually it is useful because you can just drop it here, and who cares about walls when explosions go through them. Oh, it doesn't actually work if you hit the base. Interesting. Now all the SAMs spawn. Not be too careless here. Ooh. Speaking of.
Your special weapons are almost gone. AA guns destroyed. Missile warning. Don't worry about the fire anymore. Dispatch more troops in the bell.
Come on. Fine.
Enemy facility destroyed. Box 2.
Okay. And now, not enough points. So you gotta go over there. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it's not gonna be 3 playthroughs and a bit. I think you do need to do a 4th playthrough, because, as I said, certain aces don't spawn on the 1st playthrough. Yeah, I didn't consider that. No, actually, Actually, that's not quite it. Hold on, let me check. The aces in this mission, they're ace style dependent, but they also only spawn in certain areas. So this is 7. Okay, mercenary. Well, hold on. Sector C. What is Sector C? I think it's the one I destroyed. Yeah, I think that's it just doesn't. The aces here don't appear in the first playthrough, which again, it means an additional playthrough. As I was saying, I didn't consider that. So this is gonna be a bit more involved than I originally thought. But whatever. It's 0. I have no problem with doing multiple playthroughs. I don't know why, but what the fuck? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why, but this game it really lends itself for me to playing it multiple times. More so even than 6 or 4. I think it's probably because of the shorter missions. That will probably be enough. Yeah. Can we do anything here? Yes. More stuff to blow up, yay. Well, I did drop a FAB, maybe that's what you saw.
The operation was a success. Gladysant has fallen. The Allied forces have broken through the Hydrian line, bringing the battle to Belka. I must inform you, however, that while you were on your mission, we received a report that the squadron attacking from Ustio's border was wiped out by a mysterious attack. We are currently investigating.
Yeah, definitely. After a long period of slumber. Raspberry's return. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I think we have enough fan service. Sharpshooter. What was that even? Guess something to do with guns. Certainly not the sharpshooter medal from 6. That was somewhat more involved, given that it required beating the entire game with only guns. Okay, here's another choice mission. Let's see. 8A. A gives us the F2, which we said we'll bunch that with the Russian thing, so never mind. 8B gives us a tornado, and 8C gives us the X-29. So again, air to air it is. I Okay, where? Okay. Yeah, speaking of Tomcat, originally I actually intended to do something instead of this. I plan to do something like not quite 100% run of 6, because that's a major pain in the ass. Just getting all the S ranks and stuff, especially the one for Liberation of Prismaria, which fuck that noise. But yeah, eventually I just decided, you know, that's probably gonna be a bit boring. It's a longer game, so I just decided to do this instead. So I thought it would be more fun. X29, X29. Wait. Oh, never mind. I didn't. What the hell am I doing? That's the unlock for the next mission. I mean, I don't really have much of a choice. I'm not gonna use the EA6 here. So I think I'm back to the F-16. Honestly, I haven't seen enough of the UAVs yet. What I've seen, they look sane. I mean, they said the intention is to make them feel weird, but I mean, not crazy. So I think I trust that this time they will finally they will finally get them to, you know, to feel interesting to fight against, but not just broken. I'm actually more worried about what they will do with Mihaly. How are they going to make him challenging without, you know, just outright hacks maneuvers? Because we've had enough of that with Pasternak, Soleimani, even worse. Really, the only instance of a one-on-one, let's call boss fight, we've had is Pixie, and well, they made that basically by giving him a ton of help, which I'm fine with. I don't mind that. In fact, I think it's probably the best way to go. Just giving them more help, so you need to hit them more times. That's basically, I'm fine with that. And of course, he has the special weapons as well. I don't know how they will handle Mihaly. I guess countermeasures would work, but I don't know. It's hard to say without really playing it. I guess we'll have to see. Again, I don't really like this mission. I like it less than Operation Kovner, because it's just, here's 2 planes, here's 2 more planes, they just fly straight at you for the most part. It's really not interesting. This to me is the weakest part of Ace Combat Zero, the aspects that it inherits from Ace Combat 5. I mean, it's not to say that 4 doesn't have missions like this, but thing is, in 4 you have the enemy AI is a bit more involved. They don't just fly straight at you, and the flight physics are a bit more interesting as well. So it all combines to make it makes each individual air-to-air fight a bit more interesting. Ace Combat 7 soundtrack. What we've heard of it so far is really good. I like the theme for Mission 3. I absolutely love the theme for Mission 6. Even if I feel it kinda doesn't quite fit the mission itself, but I don't know, that's probably just something that I'll get used to. But the track itself is great. It's been stuck in my head ever since I watched that gameplay video. Man, wow. The XMA just ran out of juice right before reaching the target. These guys really, if you don't take them out right away, they just hyperspeed away. One thing I wonder though about Ace Combat 7 soundtrack, so far Keiki Kobayashi is the only one that's being credited, and it's the only one that they've had, you know, in events and such. I have to wonder if he's doing the entire soundtrack this time. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I mean, overall, his tracks are my favorite. Especially before Assault Horizon. Assault Horizon, his involvement in the soundtrack of Assault Horizon was a bit more. He mostly did the cutscenes. He didn't actually do that much in the way of in-game soundtrack. But you know, before that, all great. But there is the other composers add variety because they all have their own style. This track, for example, is by Nakanishi. He's always more into the whole electronic thing, while Kobayashi tends to do more orchestral stuff. Yeah, exactly. So I think there will be something lost if only Kobayashi works on the soundtrack this time around. So I hope it's not the case.
Emergency message from Operations HQ. Enemy launching long-range attacks. Current airspace is within range. Now you tell us. Where should we fly? Transmitting projected enemy target.
But who knows, maybe they're like, well, this time we're hiring you as a freelancer, so you do everything. Who knows at this point? Okay, only one ace. Yeah, one of them only spawns on ace difficulty. And I imagine that the other one doesn't spawn on a first playthrough. I know one of them is time constricted. You need to do the first part in a certain amount of time. But it doesn't matter because I'm gonna have to play this mission again, so whichever way it is, it doesn't matter. Just reading chat while I avoid Excalibur, because why not?
You're almost out of the operation airspace. Stay on course to the south.
Yeah, it's kind of strange that they haven't said anything about multiplayer yet. You have to wonder if maybe this final delay was. I mean, I want to think this delay was more a matter of timing. They probably didn't want to release now in the middle of, you know, all the big hitters. You have Call of Duty, you have Battlefield, you have Red Dead Redemption 2, probably more stuff that I'm forgetting.
But in the end,
So it's
We saw
probably
it.
a very good idea to not release just yet. But I have to wonder if they're also maybe still working on the multiplayer, like not just polishing, but actually like working on core aspects of it. Who knows?
The mission objectives were achieved.
Yeah, that is
But
true.
our
It is
forces
crowded
were told
as
to
well,
hang
but
low
at this
by
point, I
enemy laser
mean,
warheads. Our country must put an end to this war.
at this point, it's like, when are we gonna release this thing? Especially after 2 delays already. Yeah. Okay. To be honest, I don't particularly care much about the multiplayer. I'm interested in what it will be. I mean, if it has co-op, I will probably play that. If it's anything like Infinity, it will definitely add quite a bit to the game. But I have my doubts that they would go that far. It's probably like maybe specific missions like 6 and Assault Horizon did. I don't know. Well, I mean, actually, Infinity was also specific missions anyway, so who knows? But anything in terms of
We discovered
PvP
an
and
unidentified
just,
laser weapon.
you know,
It's a long
whatever. Not particularly interested. If you ask me, PvP hasn't worked yet, and I don't think it ever will with Ace Combat mechanics, so yeah. I think it's just a core issue of the mechanics. Oh, okay, so it's marksman, sharpshooter, and then there's one for, I think, 50 enemy aircraft with guns, which I don't remember the name of. Alright. How are we doing on the assault? Well, not much, because it's a first playthrough, so yeah. Just a couple, really. Okay. Oh, gotta buy. Well, actually, I could use it. Yeah, let's replace the F-16. Hopefully, I will have enough money. I will keep the A-10. Barely enough. And it does mean I don't. Okay. Do want to use LAGMs for this one. Man, I didn't remember this game being so stingy with money. No, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna sell the A10. I can buy it later if I need to. That will do. Just for a change. I'm gonna use it for Mayhem as well, so. Yeah, that interview, man. That I don't know if that quote has aged well or it hasn't, because for me it is absolutely true, but well, it's not true. I'm gonna play 7 on release day, but it is true that I'm still playing 6. But yeah, they certainly didn't expect 7 to take 11 years to release after 6 was out. But yeah, definitely, as with every year, Tuga Avenger and I will do another series-wide stream. It's not gonna be a marathon this time, I think, because we found that that was a little too much. We got tired, and you could notice that we were much less lively as the day went on. we were just too tired. So, and it interfered with you know, with real life stuff sometimes. So we're not gonna do that. I was thinking maybe we'll do something like with 1 or 2 games per day, depending on the length of each game. Well, Ace Combat 5 is gonna be split into 2 days for sure, because that's just so long. But yeah, we're doing something for sure. So that will serve as an Ace Combat 6 playthrough before 7 comes out. We'll probably, we will probably do it in January, maybe December, probably January. It's too early to tell, but yeah, it's pretty much a given that we will do something, unless something major comes up. I don't know, and if we die, you know, if one of us dies, then we won't do it. Let's hope that doesn't happen, right? My microphone keeps falling off. Just don't fire LEGMs here. Yeah, a week before it would be optimal. At least before the, you know, before the console release. Unfortunately, for those on PC, which includes Tuga himself, they will have to wait a little more. But you know, such is life. Ace Combat X, yes, every time. It's that, I mean, that's Tuga's baby. So of course it's gonna do that. 3D, no, because, well, neither of us has a 3DS, and emulation is still not to the point where that's a doable thing. I think last time we checked, it still wasn't quite there. It may have changed, I don't know. I know there was a major breakthrough in, oh crap, oof, too close. I thought it was gonna, the laser was gonna go out by the time that yeah. Okay, LEGMs are not one-hit kill against these. But yeah, I do know there was a major breakthrough in 3DS emulation. But I think it still wasn't enough to make Combat 3D quite playable, at least on you know, on sane PCs. Maybe if you have like top of the line, then maybe, but otherwise not really. I have no idea. How would you even do that? I have to wonder. I mean, I guess with a modded PS3, maybe it's possible. I don't know. I kind of wasted all my LEGMs, but whatever. Don't need them. It really was a shame that, I mean, since we're playing Excalibur, the ACI version of this mission just, yeah, never be played again. It would be interesting if they brought those missions back for 8 to 7. Maybe it's the DLC. I mean, we know they're doing mission DLC, so anything could happen. Yeah, no, I was surprised about that. When I saw that Soul Calibur F2B game closed like within the same year or something like that. ACI lasted what? 3 years? No, 4 maybe? Launched in 2014, right? And it closed in 2018. So yeah, 4 years. Wow.
We can even see it from here. Good job.
Well, good thing we didn't get the F20 earlier, because otherwise it would be F5 family the playthrough. Flying dangerously.
All planes, job well done. PJ, don't get too excited and crash, buddy. Yeah!
Although we didn't discover any nuclear facilities, Excalibur is no longer a threat.
F-15C. We got the cannon plane. Just in time for mayhem, but I don't know if I will use it just yet. How much does it cost? And we're mercenaries, so it's gonna be MiG-31 unlocked after this. So not a factor. Yeah, I'm gonna use the X-29 again. Cannon be damned. Yeah, if you only go for the if you only go for the actual targets, then yeah. If you go for war crimes, that's a different story. At this point, most likely the digital deluxe edition. I would prefer to get it physical, but it doesn't look like there will be a physical version of that edition. And I do basically get a €10 discount on the season pass if I get it digital. So yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. I like to have certain games in physical form, but you know, I'm not gonna spend extra money for that.
All damaged aircraft, return to base. Still no reinforcements from base. If only they get here, we can put an end to this all at once. Another plane's been
I mentioned this before, but for all the hype this mission gets, it's okay, but it's really not a particularly tight orbal. Wide spread out. The AI is really passive in general. I honestly prefer Combat 4 Shattered Skies over this, or like by quite a significant margin. Or, well, obviously Weapons of Mass Destruction, but that's just insanity. Or, honestly, something that is very surprising, and I didn't realize until replaying Ace Combat 5 after a long time. I prefer Journey Home to this. Other than the whole mandatory ceremonial flight at the start, the actual dogfight is significantly more involved. It just feels kind of cut short, I guess, because at some point the enemy stops coming. But well, that has to happen at some point. So. Sea of Chaos is good as an anti-ship mission for sure. One of the better missions in 5, definitely. I mean, honestly, thinking about it, maybe it's not that the targets are spread out. Maybe it probably has more to do with the AI again. I think with Ace Combat 4's Shattered Skies, again, it's what I mentioned earlier. It helps that the flight physics and the enemy AI, they can synergize in a way that makes it more interesting to play for me. And I think that's one aspect where Combat Zero doesn't do quite as well until you get to the Ace Squadrons, obviously. Yes, definitely. These planes are dumber than 5 planes. I don't know why. It's really weird. The AI in this mission is just very, very passive. They almost don't react to you at all. While on the other hand, Journey Home has some of the most aggressive AI in Ace Combat 5, so... Okay. How slow can you be? Come on. Come on. Okay. I mentioned that earlier. They translated it literally as the Infernal Duke. Don't ask me. I mean, I understand the literal word, or most commonly used word for Lord, is the word that is used, in a religious context for the Lord, and other things like Lord of the Rings. The word that is used for that wouldn't really work here, so they had to come up with something else. Oh, like literally in Spanish, it's Duque Infernal. I mean, the literal translation would be Señor Demonio, which sounds more like Sir Demon. So yeah, obviously not. Okay, Gravak isn't gonna spawn because we're not playing on Ace, so we can just go ahead and kill. Well, not kill, but shoot Occupine. So yeah, I understand why they changed that a little. If they, instead of literal translation for Lord, they went for well, I guess a nobility title would be Duke, which does tie into the whole, Balkan Knights kind of thing, I guess. The whole Arthurian theme of the game. So that's something. Then, well, of course, Infernal is just a reference to the demon part of the name. So I guess they did about as good as a job as they could do. Honestly, the name itself, the whole obsession with demons and crap, already kind of cringy in itself. So. That would be Well, again, if we use, instead of demon, we use specifically infernal, that would be much more. It sounds much better in Spanish. Would be Caballero Infernal, Infernal Knight or Demon Knight. So otherwise it's Caballero Demoníaco. It sounds that just sounds like shit. These guys just flying on their own over here. Not even... Well, they do try to engage you when you get close to them, so there's that. But again, it's strange enemy placement. Okay, now I have everyone locking onto me. Gotta use those crams, because they're honestly not very useful against the aces. They take less damage from special weapons. And if you're gonna need 2 crams anyway, it's kind of pointless. Shit, let's not do that. Oh, that's not gonna hit. But Pixie is with 1 missile. Okay.
Warning, the enemy's tracking you on radar.
Crap, that was close. Pretty much flying into that missile's path. Get some gun action. Well, if I suck, fine. That will have to do. That's not gonna hit. Well, 50%. That's the last one? No. I haven't. B. Well, circle. That's why it has the same rank to it.
All targets within combat airspace are down. Operation complete. Yo, buddy, you still alive?
Yeah, I guess that works actually, that way of saying it, because it goes with the whole, shrouded in mystery thing. So it
We were victorious
very well
in
might be.
7R engagement. The round table is finally toppled. According to our reports, the squadron led by that enemy ace in the
31. Not gonna use that yet, if ever. It's not a plane that I'm particularly suits my style.
Accomplishments of the mercenary known as Demon Lord. I forgot about my job and read everything I had on hand. Around the time Demon Lord received his nickname, South Belka showed signs of weariness regarding the war. Because the region was set up as a defense line to protect the birthplace of Belka in the north, the people's dissatisfaction had reached a climax. The cities declared themselves demilitarized and peacefully surrendered to the Allied forces. Unable to establish a defensive position, the Belkan army kept retreating to the north. The end of the war was fast approaching.
Hi Joshua, what's up?
I was given an opportunity to interview the former aces of the Belkan Air Force. Back then, they were the masters of the sky, and they had also known him. So I crossed the border to follow his trail. I wanted to capture the war and the Demon Lord from their point of view. To capture the voices of those who were there.
All right, interview time.
Rot Team Commander, former member of the Belkan Air Force, 2nd Air Division, 52nd Tactical Fighter Squadron, Detlef Fleischer, also known as the Red Swallow. With his skill and demeanor, he was practically a poster boy for the armed forces. Today, he is a professor of history at the University of Dinsmark.
Back then, I was bursting with pride. I wanted to lead us to victory, for Belka's honor. Staying where it was nice and warm wouldn't accomplish anything. My flight's mission was to maintain air superiority in Area B7R, an essential area that we couldn't allow to be violated. That day, when I heard the order from HQ for reinforcements, I became angry. The station force was in chaos because of just 2 mercenaries. There was no way the mighty Belkan Air Force could lose to mere mercenaries. My pride was shot, and the round table was defiled. What went wrong? Whatever it may be, the fact remains I was forced to walk a different path in life than the one I had envisioned.
Gelb Team's number 2, former member of the Belkan Air Force, 5th Air Division, 23rd Tactical Fighter Squadron, Rainer Altman. He flew the skies of Directus during the capital's liberation, and he's still there to this day.
I met him above this very sky. I can still hear the sound of the missile alerts from that day. I received an order to fly to Directus on my way back from an intercept mission on the southern defense line. The order itself wasn't unusual. We kept being deployed from one mission to the next without receiving even the basic maintenance. But the situation was the same all around. We were late reaching the operational space. The station squadrons had already retreated, and warning bells were going off in the city. And the people were looking up to his plane, high above the sky. He pursued me relentlessly. As soon as I thought I'd shook him off, there he was again. The never-ending sound of the missile alerts put fear in my heart for the first time.
Best interview.
This man was head of the command group and was known as the Vulture. Schwartz Team Commander, Dominik Zubov, former member of the Belkan Air Force, 13th Night Fighter Air Division, 6th Tactical Fighter Squadron. He fled after the final battle in order to avoid prosecution for various war crimes. He is still on the run and being hunted as an escaped killer.
Sorry about the accommodations. Goes with the business. I'm not active during the day. Back then, I was a shadow assassin, an escapee killer. Given the order, I'd even shoot down my own comrades. I received an order to take down deserting craft on that day. It was a typical assignment. But something unexpected happened. My target was no new recruit, but a top ace of the Belkan Air Force.
And he just had to go and run straight into the chaos at the round table.
The man was sharp, just like the rumors. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was that the mercenary team of Solo Wing and him were there. Thanks to them, I lost my target. I figured the least I could do was take them down in return. Of course, that was where my luck ran.
He was unstoppable. It didn't matter where the battlefield was. The man had complete trust in his own powers. He was born for battle. A demon lord who struck down all opposition. He paid no heed to the troubles of those who flew with him.
Yep, he was an asshole.
Before long, everyone had taken notice of him. More and more would show up to watch him go off on sortie. Mercenaries or maintenance crew, it didn't matter. People wanted to burn his image to their memories. Hell, they weren't the only ones.
Okay, what do we have? What do we have? We have 15 left. Well, my mind tells me I have to use this at some point. Just a bit of a compulsion of mine to use everything. But as long as I have new planes, I'm going to avoid it. Okay, let's sell the X-29. And get us some UGPL. For maximum war crimes. Well, more, I don't know if it's considered, I mean, if it's in the context of a war, I don't think it will be considered terrorism, just, well, war crimes. But yeah, it might as well be. Somehow Pixie has nothing to say about my bombing of them. Actually, yeah. I mean, if they are considered to be military targets, then I guess it comes down to a question of morality and how you see it individually. I mean, yeah, it's not like they're targeting, like, 100%. I mean, I was gonna say civilian areas. I mean, technically, a weapons factory at the end of the day is civilian, but yeah, it does get blurred. That's really the thing. It's not like they're targeting residential areas. That would be an outright war crime. Yeah. Abandon hope. There's no mercy in war, and that's why I'm flying all the way here, just to destroy this harmless T-130. And also because I'm playing mercenary. 15ly enough, I didn't save those guys. I normally do it, but I was too far away. I wouldn't really call that waiting game. It's only a few seconds. I mean, in general, this mission is like, it's not one of my favorites exactly, but it's not on the level of AC5 stuff, that's for sure. Okay. Take care of the jamming first. Oh wow, the B2s are already here. I guess because I'm so far up north. That's that taken care of. These F-35s are actually quite aggressive. Yeah, but it's only a few seconds. And if you destroy things in a certain order, you won't even have any waiting, because you'll still have targets left. So yeah, whatever. I'm not that anal about about my waiting games. Okay. And honestly, if we're gonna talk about war crimes here, the Belkan military are probably the ones doing it, because they're just... If you look at the fire, there's fire in outright residential zone. So yeah, or well, maybe not either residential or can't see them from here, but or business areas. You know, there's definitely not, yeah, like that. I mean, they're definitely not burning just military targets.
Nobody knew why they were fighting anymore. All I felt at that point was sadness for the world. That's why
I think this replay always focuses on Pixie first, which is interesting. I wonder if it's based on the cutscene. Or maybe I'm just imagining things. That could also be. Okay. Yeah, and even Closure still has, for basically no reason, still has a significant amount of wave spawning. I don't really get why. And I would like to just get to the mine area and have all the targets, so you actually have some. No, it's a bit more dynamic. You choose where to go first, but basically get this set of targets and then this set of targets and then this set of targets and so on. It's weird. Really have to wonder if they just didn't want to overwhelm the player, which is the complete opposite of how 4 did things. Okay, I didn't unlock any planes here, so Stage of Apocalypse. That's yeah, F-15 XMAA, basically. More dead flags.
Rogue team, do you read me? Head for Voltryke to take out any remnant forces the Belkans could have positioned out there. Golem 2, what's the problem? You're behind. Don't worry, I'll catch up. This is PJ from Crow Team. Golem 2, is there a problem with your craft? Just sad. Emergency transmission from Allied HQ. A Belkan bomber squadron equipped with nuclear weapons has taken off for Ustio. What? Enemy bombers are approaching this airspace.
Yeah, that is basically where the only Spanish aces come from. And there are some, yeah. On both sides. As far as I know. I'm not exactly an expert on the thing, but pretty sure I read that at some point.
Do whatever it takes to stop them. Prepare to engage enemy. 5 miles remaining. 4 miles remaining. I see them. Enemy fighters with nukes.
Oh, whew. 2 missiles from 2 slightly different angles. Good thing missiles in this game don't track particularly well. That was Ace Combat 4, I would be so dead. Yeah, you kinda did fuck it up. It's Guernica. It's basically remove the R and the E after the first R, and you got it right. Of course, it will also depend on spelling. Will also depend on what language you're using. The Spanish spelling is different from the Basque spelling. Okay. Okay, Pixie. Okay, if I remember right, the Ace here only spawns if you destroy at least most of the F-15s before the update. However, I don't know if he spawns on your first playthrough. so I'll just try. That's all of them. And that's it. Time for shit to go down. And for these MiG-31s to just warp. They're in front of me, and they're not. Then again, maybe it's your position that gets warped. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, hi there, Wizard One. Let's just stay behind Bixby. Yep, no ace. That must be a first playthrough thing. I mean, he's not firing yet. I was wondering if he would try to face me, but I guess not. No, he only fires if you get in front of him. Doesn't actually seem to actively track you. Oh, there were? I have no idea about that. Never really looked into it. And the last two XMAs are for you, but you're gonna evade them, right? Wow. Huh. Thought that was too much of an angle.
This is where we go our separate ways.
Well, not gonna complain.
We were unable to confirm if the enemy squadron you engaged was equipped with nuclear.
Yeah, I mean, officially, Spain did not. Well, they did send certain troops, but it wasn't like yeah, it was more of a volunteer thing, as far as I know. Officially, they were neutral, so yeah. F-15E and SU-32. So we go from F-15C to the E. Sure is variety. Oh, accidentally skip that cutscene. Oh well. We've all seen it a million times. Yeah, I guess you probably can't rewatch cutscenes until you beat the game. And yeah, I mean, it's either that or the A10, but I already used the A10, so whatever. I think I can afford it without... Oh, never mind, I have plenty of money. Well, or the A6, but I think by this point it's pretty clear I'm not going to use that. Oh, no, never mind. 100k exactly. So plenty of money. Really, none of these special weapons are great, but SFFS has to be. Not a particularly great weapon, but it will have to do. PJ, even if you give him air-to-ground weaponry, I don't think he ever uses it. He has like an allergy to attacking ground targets or something, so I end up just giving him XMA8. Yeah, pretty much. The F-16C is a better attacker than the F-15E, which is actually considered to be an attacker in this game. So it's all backwards.
Give me orders at any time. It's an honor to fly as comms number 2.
Okay, I do have to check the aces for this mission because I don't know the spawning conditions here. Again, probably won't work in first playthrough anyway, but okay, this is mission 13. Okay, so the ace style dependent aces are the ones that don't spawn on the first playthrough. However, you can spawn Granny. Let's see how. Okay, eastern sector. Yeah, I remember actually. So gotta go for the eastern targets, and that's it. Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, PJ stands for Patrick James. And I like to play polo. You know, the game with the horses. Maybe we should get going now. The return line is located on the west side of the operation airspace. Pass over this line whenever you need repairs or supplies. It's too bad about
I'm not gonna focus too much on the enemy planes. There's plenty of points to be had just going for ground targets. I don't know if that will even work. It won't. Yeah. Doesn't really spread very far like that. Maybe they thought they would be a little too overdone because they like Belkans talk all the time. So maybe it will be like constant accent. Kinda like Yuktovania. Only at the end do they get an accent. It's weird. And even then, only some of them. Yeah, definitely prefer the reticle for SFFS in particular. Much better in those games. It's still not exactly the most reliable weapon, but yeah. see if that works better.
Locked on. Missile launched.
Okay.
There's two of them. The team alone went towards your platoon. Are you sure there's only two? Confirmed. Golem 1, Fox 2.
This quality trees. We're gonna get a significant upgrade with Combat 7's trees. Okay, Granny is supposed to spawn at this point. I wonder if that's... I don't think that's it. I seem to remember you have to get like 8,000 points or something. There's this contradictory information on how to spawn the aces. Yeah, no, those are just the MiG-31s from earlier. Doesn't help that this one in particular is stealth. It's a YF-23, so not always obvious when it spawns.
Locked on.
I think that's it. Or not. Nope, it's not. How do you spawn this thing? Maybe it also doesn't spawn on the first playthrough, I don't know. Regardless, it's not an issue because this one spawns on every, basically every difficulty and every ace style, so it's whatever. Those ones to the east are just Typhoons, I already know that. Okay, 8,000 points. Let's see if it spawns now. Yep. You need 8,000 points to spawn this ace. So the info on the wiki is actually incorrect. I think it's because Sly hasn't got around to this mission yet. So that's probably why it's not correct.
Bandits in gun range. Golem 1, Fox 2.
We're halfway through pretty much, and these last two areas have quite a few targets, so should be fine. And then of course there's a bunch of F-35s in the way, which give a lot of points.
That is one huge facility. Missile launched. What's that huge hangar for? Planes have left the hangar.
Alright. Another one here.
Target destroyed. Our tests will guarantee that the operation is carried out successfully. We've destroyed the hangar.
Okay. The ace that only spawns on mercenary is supposed to spawn here when you move in this general area. But it's probably one of those that doesn't spawn on the first playthrough, so... But, gotta try.
Approaching gun range.
I wonder if that's it.
Warning, the enemy is locked onto you.
Yep. Okay, so it does. Good thing I checked. I don't have to do this mission 4 times. Good to know.
Golem 1, Fox 2. tipped off even more.
Basically have to fly right through the MiG-21 squadron area. Really strange spawning requirement sometimes. Yeah, only need 3,000 points, and just this squadron of F-35s probably gives that much.
Fox 2. Warning, the enemy's locked onto you.
Yeah, it's 740 points per. And I think one of them goes neutralized. So that's twice the points. Oh crap. That's low lock-on with attackers.
Missile evaded.
Can be a problem sometimes.
Approaching gun range.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Com 1. Missile
Didn't even need to
All attack targets
destroy all
have been
four.
destroyed. Com team, not bad for a couple of rookies. Whew. All right.
Yeah, it does. The terrain is much more interesting. The soundtrack is much better. So that's nice. And the UAVs at the end should throw
The mission
an interesting variation.
Belkin resistance was a success, as to the intended purpose.
I just still wonder how they are gonna how they're gonna handle the time limit. If it's just gonna, if the mission is just gonna end when you destroy all targets, or if there will be like additional spawns. Who knows? Because I think it was like, was it 15 minutes time limit? Can't remember. That's quite long. I mean, it is a pretty target-rich mission, but I mean, once you unlock the better planes and become better at it, who knows? Final overture. Okay, as usual, let's see the unlocks. Oh, 12 minutes. Okay, that's better. Okay, mission 14A gives us the F-35. That works. 14B gives the Nighthawk. Let's not. 14C gives the Growler. So that's all 3 American planes. Growler or F-35 is basically the choice here. C or B. Oh, okay. I've done C both times, so let's do B instead. No, not B. A. And get the F-35. That's, you know, that's a pretty fitting end game plane. Nah, I'm gonna go with the F-35. Just I don't want to do the air-to-air operation every time. Mix it up a little. At least I hope this is correct. I hope it's, because if I get the if I get the Nighthawk now, it's gonna be. Didn't unlock anything in this mission. Okay. So this was A. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Let's cancel these. Let's use the. Oh, okay, Prowler. Yeah. I misread. Yeah. That's what I was gonna do. Yeah. Okay. LAGM. It's I mean, the lack of speed doesn't matter in this mission, so yeah, it works out. It's a pretty compact area. So bad. actually handles pretty decently, though. It's not. It doesn't handle like an attacker. Well, it isn't in the first place, but.
We're broadcasting live from the signing ceremony here in Lumen. Senior officials from each nation have come here in hopes of a peaceful solution.
Okay, here there's an ace that I think only spawns if you take out the fleet first. If you neutralize the fleet, actually, if I remember right. I'm not gonna check. I'm not gonna check the guide, but I'm just gonna try. Yeah, it was in 5. It was in 5. You got it after killing the regular A6E kill bar. And it was a massive upgrade in terms of handling. So there's that. Okay, let's neutralize these. See, yep, okay. You only need to neutralize 2 of them. So you don't actually need to come here right away. Bye-bye.
Today's signatures will ratify an agreement which calls for the disarmament of Belka. Belka's military forces will be reduced.
I don't even know if I need 2 missiles to kill these. Let's try. Yep, you do. Yeah, I mean, I did use LAGM, that's not the most powerful thing.
According to our sources, the agreement also touches on the possession of nuclear armaments.
I wouldn't be the biggest fan. I mean, depends on how far back it goes. Or, well, not how far back, rather what the upper limit is, really. Because, I mean, if you got a turn, okay? If you still have stuff like the, you know, the F-15, which, I mean, it is a 70s plane, so. Something set in the 80s I could deal with, yeah. But people sometimes talk about, you know, about like 60s and stuff like that. Nah, I wouldn't be into that. And it would still not be my preference. I like my, you know, my modern planes. May not be a fan of the stealth ones. You know, F-22, F-35, Su-57 is what it's called now. Not the biggest fan of those designs, but you know, stuff like the Typhoon, the Gripen, more 80s, 90s kind of thing. I do need that kind of stuff, so. I would still play such a thing, but it wouldn't be my first pick for a setting. Better than futuristic though. I'm really not a fan of futuristic focused games. At least as far as Ace Combat goes. It's fine if they have futuristic planes in addition to regular ones, but I'd rather not have something like 3. And well, yeah, they could put anything if they wanted, but at that point, talking about a certain era kind of loses the point, I would say. Because if they're gonna put any plane they want anyway. I mean, like here, you have the F-22, the modern F-22, flying in 1995, so, and the F-35, that's even more so. Even within universe, it doesn't make much sense for the Falcon or probably the X-02 to be in the game either, but obviously that's just a concession to previous games.
Thanks to your help, the operation was...
Okay, so I got the Gripen aces as well. I think they were Gripens or Rafales. I can't remember. Yeah, I think they're Gripens, and the Rafale ace only spawns on ace difficulty. I think that's how it goes.
Treaty declaring a cessation of hostilities was signed in Lumen.
Sorry, randomness, I missed your question earlier. Kind of DLCs do you think Ace Combat 7 will have? I mean, well, we already know that they're gonna have additional missions and planes.
At the cost of many human lives.
I'd be surprised if they didn't also have stuff like paint schemes,
shifted to the tables, and the
possibly altering stats as they did in previous games
underground natural
with DLC paint schemes. I don't know.
Cause of this war.
But we already know that missions and planes will be included.
6 months
so
of void.
There's that.
I focused on this time period for the hidden truth laid there. And I learned that my pursuit of him was not a mistake.
Talon of Ruin. Well, I guess this is our end game plane. Might as well just buy everything. Because really, what else is there? I'm not gonna use the F-15E for the last 3 missions, that's for sure. If anything, I would use the C for the cannon factor. But nah. That's correct. Let's just go with this. Become a sellout. Use a 5th generation plane. I mean, that kind of question is never really very meaningful, because at the end of the day, they're as good as the player playing them, right? If anything, the only way to answer that would be going by what they achieve in each game. And I have to say that, and then I have to say Mobius 1. Yeah, it is silly, but you know, just to entertain it. I will have to say Mobius 1 just because I mean, if you look at the missions in 4, they have more stuff in them, generally speaking. And Yellow Squadron is a more dangerous foe than any of the Ace Combat 0 Ace squadrons. So I have to say Mobius 1. He also tends to fly, I mean, he doesn't fly solo generally, because he does have allies, but it's not like Cypher, who always flies with a wingman, right? So that kind of counts as well. Yeah, pretty much. And again, Mobius 1 has his share of fanboys as well, so whatever. I think it's all done. Let's just put it that way. Stereotypes ahoy.
Time to stop the Demon Lord. This is his father too. Roger. Lead the way.
Okay, here I have to do something that I never do. Go for the aces that spawn to the south later on. I never bother with them because they're just so far away. Okay. Spada 2 having a bad day apparently. And so is Spada 1. Okay.
These are 7 fighters.
Gonna fly straight at me too. Fine. Okay, the B2s don't spawn on your first playthrough. There are 2 B2 aces here. But those spawn on every ace style, so it doesn't matter. These ones are ace style dependent.
Nice kill. Bandits in gun range. Missile hit. XBO will be out of
Yeah, fortunately the times when the radar turret doesn't quite work out with what's happening, well, those times aren't as bad in 0 as they are in 5. So, oh shit! Holy fuck! Do not fly over the XBO, man. Do not. Jesus Christ.
Ground zero. No signs of life.
Yep.
Our base is
Again, thankfully it's a short mission.
We're counting on you. Warning, unknown craft on radar. Initiate operation. We have to go into battle. The big
And maybe Espada will put up more of a fight this time. Or maybe not. So I'm getting hungry, so I better finish this soon.
It's the one who destroyed our base.
And by finish, I mean just the first playthrough, obviously. Not gonna do the whole thing today.
XBO must be destroyed. It's
Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. We'll see.
report your status.
Oh. Okay.
We're engaging friendly aircraft. These are 7 fighters.
Sequence break-in? In what sense?
Warning, the enemy's tracking you on radar.
I mean, you can just fly past everything in the valley. I don't know if that's what you mean. Wouldn't really call it sequence break-in because it's just skipping it. I don't know. Well, I guess that could be called that.
Radar lock. Yeah, Cypher just snagged a bandit.
Oh, I don't think I've ever done that.
Approaching gun range.
Didn't even know you could. Huh?
That's the kill.
I don't know. I could try. I think the altitude limit for the SAM defenses is very, very tight. It's not like in Ghost of Ratsworth where there is a bit of it's a bit lenient. Okay, let's play it safe this time. What the hell is happening? What the? What the hell? Okay, what is happening with these missiles? Is it because they... I think it's because they come out at a slight downwards angle because of the weapon base. Because that never happened to me with any other planes. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Lock onto that AA gun. God damn it. Okay. Gotta be careful with those missiles now. Man, that... I never use the bore sight because I always forget it exists. But man... The target switch in this game is so broken. I think it's probably just as bad as in 5. But sometimes it feels even worse. You end up locking onto everything except what you want to. Yeah, I was mixing up regular missiles and quams, but at some point I just stopped. Okay. Yeah, if this had been on Ace, I'm pretty sure I would have died. 44% is probably twice that on Ace, so
Nice work, GOM team. Operation complete.
maybe not, but close.
Our death is not the end of everything. The rest is up to you. There's a coded message on the radio. Decrypting message. Yo, buddy, you still alive?
It's... Hi Pixie, bye Pixie. See you again in, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe. If everything goes to plan. So in-game time has been 1 minute 1 minute, 1 hour 30 minutes, and I've been streaming for 3 hours. So yeah, it's really misleading if you only go by the in-game flight time when it comes to judging how long each game is. Of course, I've been watching most of the cutscenes, so... Yeah, SOD is probably the best option here. It's almost kind of sad, huh? Wait, wrong game.
Pass through B7R. It's an awful place, but the fastest shortcut. Maintain current course. Detected close to area B7R.
So the award for most boring cockpit goes to...
Eliminate enemy forces in the round table.
Well, it should finally be... Hold on. The F-35 was in Assault Horizon, right? I would imagine it was, but I just don't remember it at all.
Target confirmed.
I don't remember a lot of stuff about that game, to be honest. Wait, it doesn't matter. Assault Horizon cockpits were still very, very. The FOV was still very narrow, so yeah. Really, Combat 7 will be the first time we get to see more of the F-35 cockpit. It was only 6 that had wider FOV cockpits, so yeah. And the F-35 was absent from that, which is weird, now that I think about it. More so than stuff like the MiG-29 or the Gripen being absent. I don't particularly care since it's not exactly one of my favorite planes, but still. Oh right, yeah, it was the yeah. Now I remember. You could even do a bit of VTOL with it and everything if you stalled. Each mission bookended by cutscenes. No, if it's just cutscenes, that's great. What I don't want is, I mean, as long as it's, you know, skippable. By cutscenes, we mean skippable cutscenes. That's great. The problem really is having a lot of dead time at the start of the end, which is not skippable. That makes replaying missions quite a drag sometimes. And honestly, even 6 is guilty of that. It's just that 6, once you get past that, the actual missions are much more dense and long, so it doesn't matter so much. But if you have something like a mission that can be done in 4 minutes, but there's like 2 minutes of talking and nothing happening, yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, I think really the Arsenal Bird is what's gonna make that mission interesting, because the first part isn't particularly noteworthy. Same with 7 actually. I mean, mission 7, the one in the canyon part is interesting because of the terrain and the weather, but then you have when the UAVs come, it's basically it doesn't look particularly exciting to me. Basically killing planes that are trying to kill your allies, so it's hard to say without actually playing it. But then of course we'll have the thing with Mihaly, supposedly, and I think that's what it's gonna be really interesting about that mission. But as I was saying earlier, it really remains to be seen how they handle him being a challenge. And yeah, that's true as well. Things could still change. Even if they don't, I'm fine with it. I'm not gonna say, well, every mission has to be, you know, Ace Combat 6 level, so nah, not really. I just hope the overall package is, you know, something that I play and I can look back and say, you know, I can play multiple times at that, and I can look back and say, you know, this is still fun to play. That's something I can say for many of these games. But you look at something like 5, or God forbid, Assault Horizon, or Joint Assault, even worse, honestly. That's not something I can always say about those. Yeah, to be fair, I never really minded that about 5, because once you get to free mission, the only times you're locked to something specific are Reprisal and Final Option, and well, neither of those are missions that you're gonna want to play again ever. So I don't particularly mind. During the campaign itself, I don't really mind if there are limitations. But in pre-mission, yeah, I mean, Assault Horizon just fucked up there big time. But then again, that's probably the least of its problems. So, yes, I would say that. I would say that. I would say it's worse than Assault Horizon. Even though Joint Assault is closer to classic Ace Combat gameplay, it managed to just fuck it up. At least Assault Horizon tried to do something entirely different and failed. But you know, there's a whole. At least it tried. But Joint Assault is just. How did they fuck it up so much? The feel of the gameplay just feels so bland and boring. The only decent thing it has is could have killed those, whatever. Is Ace of Aces 2. This you versus many planes. I don't know if you've played it. But even that is not that great because the core mechanics are weird. The AI is weird. It's just there is just so much wrong with this game, with that game. I'm flying too high. Thankfully, this has the agility to just do a loop like that. And really, even more importantly, Assault Horizon was fun on the first playthrough. It was entertaining. Oh shit, that did hit me. Joint Assault didn't manage that at all. It was a drag to get through. The only way I've been able to replay it is on emulator. Abusing the hell out of unlocking emulation speed. Because it just has so much waiting games, it's unreal. And then of course the story is complete crap. Makes Ace Combat 6 look like a, I don't know, like an award-winning movie. The soundtrack is questionable as well. They went for a more orchestral thing to it, and I don't know. Yes, it was a golden axe that I dropped. Oh man. They actually got the composer from the Fallout series, and it really shows. There are tracks that just sound like Fallout 3 specifically. It's just not a style that works with Ace Combat, in my opinion. It has a few decent tracks, yes, a few even good ones, but overall it's just a weird style. So really, every aspect of it is highly questionable. Yes, disjointed. That really is an issue. And strange picks for like when each track plays. There are some really strange decisions done with the soundtrack there. Okay, this is not a good idea, flying in front of these things when I'm at 74% damage. The biggest irony is that Joint Assault has the most, how would I call it? Like you look at replay value, and I would say there's intrinsic replay value, you know, when you replay a game because it's fun to play it, like I'm doing now. And there's extrinsic replay value where you play to unlock things. Joint Assault has a ridiculous amount of extrinsic replay value because it has it has a million things to unlock. You need to play with every plane, and it has many planes. I think like 40 or something like that. You need to play with each plane quite a bit to unlock all the paint schemes and all the special weapons. But of course, why would you want to do that when the game itself is just terrible? So it's really quite ironic. Meanwhile, games like 6, which are built to be replayable intrinsically, they don't really have a lot of like extrinsic rewards to them. You basically beat the game like 3 times and you've unlocked everything there is. I'm hoping that 7 will finally be a game that has both extrinsic and intrinsic rewards for replaying it in the long term. Not get hit by guns. Hey, War Crimes. Unfortunately, I'm almost done here for the day. Okay. Sometimes the SOD can actually kill both the last lock joint and the V2 control. But of course there is an element of randomness to it. Yeah, the angle wasn't right for that one. And again. Oh well. One more pass should do it. And on the topic of Avalon, it would be nice to be able to play the Escoman Infinity version. Particularly the multiplayer one, but okay, not just one more pass. I guess I'm gonna need more than that. I fucked that up. Yeah, particularly the multiplayer version, but the campaign version was interesting as well. Overall, I would say it was better than this one. Except for one thing, the track itself, Avalon, doesn't play until the very end on the Infinity version, which was somewhat disappointing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they figured, you know, we're already done Stonehenge, so, They would have to change Megalith significantly, though, because at its core, it's really not. Doesn't really have that much to it. It's 3 tunnels, and you're done. Well, 3 tunnels and then 1 more, but yeah. We're gonna be rich. No, you won't. I got into it in the first year, and I still feel I got into it too late, because by that point, also press F. By that point, it already felt a bit try-hardy, And well, by the time I stopped playing, it was just ridiculous. Everyone just flying the most overpowered stuff they could possibly muster, and just oh, there's a lot left on Assault Records. This is only the first playthrough, and in the first playthrough, many aces never spawn, even if you fulfill the conditions. That's just hard coded into the game. So overall, it's gonna require 4 playthroughs, but I'm only gonna do this one today. And we get to the end. Oh shit, Pixie! Nice job. Okay.
Shoot down the enemy. I'll run a plane analysis and fill you in ASAP.
Yeah, it would have been nice to play Infinity in its early days when everyone was just in shit planes and no one knew what the fuck they were doing. That would have been fun. As little as that would have lasted, but you know. I didn't have a PS3 at the time. I got one used a few months after Infinity launched, specifically to play Infinity, which many advised me not to do, but whatever. It wasn't that expensive, and I think I got my money out of it. I played all other things eventually, so now it's just sitting there gathering dust because I really don't use the PS3 for anything nowadays. Oh wow, that got me somehow. Last thing I played on PS3 was Gran Turismo 6. I replayed it. Haven't really followed on Escuma 6 emulation. Not like I'll ever be able to run that, regardless of how good the emulator gets. Yeah, I got Sport a couple of months back. It was on sale for like 15 euros, so you know, let's do it. I wouldn't have gotten it for much more than that because I mean the whole single player content isn't like all that much, and I don't care about multiplayer. But yeah, I did complete the single player content that was released up to that point. There's been an additional update recently that added some more events to the GT League, but it's not really enough for me to just re-download the game again. I played like 2 races in the multiplayer. It was okay. I mean, I can see why it is definitely the best multiplayer racing because of the whole the whole skill-based matching and what's it called, the sportsmanship rating as well. I'm sure it's the best, even without having much experience with multiplayer racing games. But it's just not my thing. It's multiplayer racing, I'm just not particularly interested in it. So, eh. But I got my money's worth out of the single player, even though it wasn't as good as classic GT games. The career mode, it wasn't really a career mode at all. So, but it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable for what it was, and especially for that price. But honestly, if I would have bought it on launch day at 60, 70 euro, whatever, I would have been very disappointed. Yeah, Forza is what I'm missing by not having an Xbox One, basically. I'm still playing Forza 4 regularly. To this day, it's the best racing game I've played, so there's that.
And this is where his trail ends as well. The impact of the 7 nuclear detonations on the world's psyche was great. Those who witnessed the carnage went on to organize a global arms
And yeah, the
reduction.
last I saw of Ace Combat 6 emulated
Perhaps they were admonishing
the
themselves.
control surfaces on the F-16 were
Furthermore,
all just
the existence
spazzing
of
out like
Platoon
crazy.
concealed.
It was amazing.
The events that occurred after the war
And yeah, it was
faded
just
from
completely
people's
broken.
memories.
I guess there hasn't been
And these men were also
any real
sealed
progress
away
since
from
then.
history.
And the audio
Maybe
was
this
completely
was
fucked
one
up as well.
path to achieve peace. And here the curtain falls on this story. However, that does not mean their own
And
stories
yeah,
came
that's
to
something
an end.
interesting about Ace Combat 4. Some of the early planes can hold their own in terms of agility against the late planes. It's quite nice actually. More recent games have followed more of a straight progression.
Lines and allegiance for money have no country to protect. They only fight for their own power and fame. But if that was the case, then why did I lose to him?
And I have a feeling 7 is going to be the same
Maybe
way.
not having the burden of a nation allows you to fly faster.
Here, the captain was gone. I've lived a comfortable life since then, and I probably have him to thank for that.
They ring the bells here at dusk to honor the liberation of the capital. It signals peace, but to me, they are the sounds of death.
Though I guess it's hard for bad guys like us to die. The real heroes always manage to die first. But guys like him, Solo Wing, and me, we live the rest of our lives in hell. But then again, being alive is proof that we were good.
Marcela Vasquez.
That is true, yeah, he
the
does.
Espada Team's #2 and former
Never thought
member
about
of
it.
the Sappan Air Force, 9th Air and Land Division, 11th Tactical Fighter Squadron. She is thought to be a survivor of the Coup d'etat squadron. She currently earns a living as a dancer.
If the Demon Lord hadn't appeared, our
Something
lives might have
more
been
stereotypes.
different. For me, it wasn't about flying or ideals. Most of all, it was about him, my flight lead. Our mission was to escort the heavy command cruiser that was to act as transportation for the organization. And the Demon Lord appeared, as if to block our path. I will never forget his overwhelming power. One by one, my comrades were shot down, and then the mother bird we were supposed to protect. I returned alive from that battlefield, and I returned to this city where I grew up. I left the organization too. I never went back to the sky again. There's no meaning there now that he's gone. He died in that fight. But I don't blame anyone. The regret and suffering that remained after.
Yeah, apparently that happens if you try to post links. I don't have any like filters set up or anything, so it's just YouTube doing that and not giving me any choice on the matter. So yay.
The Ocean Air Defense Force, 8th Air Division, 32nd Tactical Fighter Squadron. He's been missing for some time, along with Captain Bristow of the same unit.
I was
since the
wondering
decisive
what that
Battle of
was.
Baldrike.
You think it's a
Captain
tank?
Bristow is
I
rumored
honestly
to be
couldn't
one
tell.
of the founding members of A World with No Boundaries. Palmer's ties to the captain have led many to believe that he is a high-ranked individual within the group. He currently works for an insurance company based in Aurid, the capital city of Osea.
Demon Lord was right. Everything he touched fell apart. I thought I was watching magic. When
Yeah,
I
I'll
was in
check
the
that out
military,
later. Thanks.
They called me an ace too. I got medals for my actions on numerous battlefields. I never felt fear toward an opponent. The same went for my ideals. I wasn't afraid to take on even an entire country. But when I was fighting him, something felt
I
different.
got spooked.
At first, I didn't know what it was. It wasn't until I noticed my hands shaking on the flight stick that I
Demon
realized
Lord too spoopy.
it was fear. It's embarrassing, but once I felt that, I couldn't fly anymore. I felt guilt toward my companions at the time. There's always a war somewhere, and I'm sure he's on some battlefield somewhere fighting even now. He'll always have a place to live.
GALM Teams number 2, and member of the Ustio Air Force, 6th Air Division, 66th Air Force Unit. That's right. This man was his buddy, and his enemy.
I should have died that day, but I didn't. I dragged my wounded body and reached ground zero of the nuclear detonations. A barren, empty land. I felt an unbearable sadness when I witnessed that landscape. There were still people living there. They were the ones that saved me. It may be true that the world has no need of borders, but would getting rid of them really change anything? The world won't change for the better unless we trust people. Trust is vital in a peaceful world. But that will never happen. I'm still on the battlefield. Right now I'm near a border. I want to see for myself what borders really mean, and what their volition really is. I may not find what I'm looking for, but I still want to try. Anyway, that's what I've come to believe, and I think that's enough. Will he see this video? If you do meet him, give him a message for me. Yo, buddy. Still alive? And thanks, friend. See you again.
A warrior who soared through the Balkan War, inspiring both fear and admiration. His presence filled the skies for but a few short months before he disappeared. Apart from that, nothing is known about him. I was never able to find out what kind of a person he really was. But whenever they talked about him, they always had a slight smile on their faces. That, perhaps, may be my answer.
And in fact, after all these years, this cutscene still puts a smile on my face. So good. Okay, so that's playthrough number 1 of basically 4. There's gonna be something like 3 point something. I'm not gonna need 4 full playthroughs, but yeah. Alright, man. See ya. Okay, and I gotta go eat something, so I'm just gonna skip this. As good as near the border is, my stomach is complaining. And I'm just gonna check out the assault records, see the progress. Can I skip this? Yes, I can. A new game, free mission, team viewer, music player, expert. Okay, so yeah, so you don't unlock Ace right away, as I feared. That's gonna make things a bit annoying. I'm gonna have to play Mayhem like 5 times total. It's a bit ridiculous. Supreme Mercenary, of course. All right. Gallery, assault records. Actually, see the medals. Curiosity. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, still quite some work to do. Okay, if anyone's still there, I think everyone's tuned out by this point. Otherwise, yeah, that's it for today. Next run will be probably next week. Probably next Saturday. Most likely, that's when I generally like to do streams. But we'll see, I guess. So, see ya.